Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to paint a dolphin.
For our dolphin today, we each have 2 pieces of 5x7-inch cotton watercolor paper. And we're gonna actually be playing with these little brush pens today by Ecoline. I picked these up at Michael's and I thought it'd be fun to try. So they're basically markers with watercolor paint. So we're gonna see how those go. And today we're doing a dolphin.
Yeah.
So we have our iPad in front of us with just a photo we found on Google, and that's kind of what we're using to look at and reference for our dolphin drawing. All right, so grab your pencil, let's get started. To start out, I can see that the tip of the dolphin's nose, this dolphin is leaping out of the water, is somewhere on the far right side of our drawing. So we want to start by making a little tick mark, just a little light pencil mark for where the tip of the nose is going to go.
Yeah, it's almost at the end of the edge of the paper.
And I think I want the tip of the tail to be somewhere on the far left side, not all the way to the edge because we need to leave room. So maybe somewhere like there. And this is actually going to be, this little dot I'm making is going to be where the tail starts. It's going to be the base of the belly. So what we're going to do now is, this is going to be really fun. We're just going to draw a swooping curving line connecting this dot to this dot. It's almost a half circle shape. So I'm going to start with the lower dot and just draw a swooping line coming up like that. And that's going to be the belly. Okay. Now let's add little lips to our dolphin. We're going to curve our line around for the bottlenose on the dolphin. This is called a bottlenose dolphin. Okay, so it almost looks like a little backwards candy cane hook shape. Now you see where that nose is. We're going to make another swooping line connecting this nose all the way down and creating the back of the dolphin, almost to the tail. So I'm actually going to start with the tail, make a little dot. The tail is not super skinny, right? We want to make it kind of wide. So this little dot is showing how fat the tail is. Now we're going to take a curved line from this tail point, and we're going to bring it up and around, and it's going to come all the way to the dolphin's head, like that.
Didn't make such a good job making it that fat.
That's pretty good. Okay, the next step is to draw the tail. For the tail, we're just going to do kind of a half circle starting in the middle between those 2 points. Do you see I'm making a line coming from between these 2 points and a little above it and swooping down in a curve shape. And that's the side of the tail fin. And then we'll do the other side of the tail fin the same way. Almost looks like 2 antennae. And about that far apart is pretty good. And then we're going to connect those 2 sides with a half circle like this. And that's the back tail fin. Now let's do the front flipper. So fairly close to the top of the head, we're going to start by doing a swooping line coming down and below. Another half circle shape.
Yeah, kind of like a candy cane.
And then we're going to make a point by touching that tip and just bringing it up. It's almost a curved triangle. So now the fin has 2 sides. Can you try yours?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to erase the line that's in between. Good. And do you want to erase that middle line? You've got one on your pencil. All right, let's do the back fin. So about halfway in the middle of our dolphin, we're going to draw this fin coming out. So it's a curved line swooping out and then coming in again and then out. Almost looks like an elf hat.
A Christmas dolphin.
Yeah, minus the puffball on the end. All right, good dolphin shape. Next, we're going to finish the nose in the front. So here where we drew the nose, just pull a line back a little ways. And then we're going to take that line and actually start in the middle of the bottle nose and draw a line connecting it to that other line we drew, and that's the mouth. Good. Now the eye goes just to the left of the mouth. So you can just draw a little black circle for the eye. And there's kind of this line that pulls back towards the fin and one that comes up towards the nose. But draw those lightly.
Yeah, wrinkly lines.
Good. And then I'm just going to draw another line, kind of mirroring the shape of the body as it curves. And on the top of the head, there's going to be kind of a shiny highlight. And so I'm going to draw a skinny oval, and that I'm going to leave white.
Yeah.
Just so our dolphin looks shiny. So let's start to paint. We've got our brushes. We each have our water. And then we're going to try out the brush pen. So I'm going to start. I have two different blues here, a darker one and a lighter one. And I also have some purple we can use for dark shadows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start with kind of tracing the outline of the back of the dolphin with the brush pen. Coming all the way up and across.
Kind of like Sharpie.
And do you want to do it maybe with the lighter blue?
Yeah.
I'm going to fill in the tail except for a streak of white right there. So these are a little different than just regular markers because they're made with watercolor pigments. And so you can actually use water and a brush and blend it out so it's lighter in some areas, and that'll be fun to try. Okay, so let's try now taking our watercolor brush, dipping it in the water. You got yours? And then we're just going to take the tip of our brush and paint over that blue brush pen mark. And you see how it starts to get lighter and blends so pretty?
Yeah.
And now watch, I'm going to avoid that highlight. I'm not going to paint where we circled that little light spot. Okay, you try. You can just, take the side of your brush and just stroke it along there. Nice. Looks lovely. Okay, let's try going in with another color. So now I'm going to take some purple and I'm going to go darker right at the base of the tail and along the top of the back and along the fin. And I'm going to fill in the eye with that purple and a little in the tail. All right, you try. And then again, I'm going over with my brush and just kind of spreading that paint around. Good. I'm going to try spreading the purple around a little. Don't make your brush too wet. Dab it on the paper towel so it's just damp, not too wet.
And spread the paint around.
Yep, and you see how I did some along the fin too? You've got enough on your brush. Remember how to hold your brush close to the tip to control it better. Good. Okay, should we maybe paint some water splashes?
Yeah.
So I like this blue color. I'm going to use this one for some water. And I'm just going to take the brush pen and scribble with it a little bit right here. See how I'm not using a whole lot, just a little bit. You want to try it?
Yeah.
To suggest water. That's probably good. And then take your wet brush again and just paint over it with water and spread that paint around. So for this painting, you definitely do want to use a little bit nicer paper if you want to get the same effects that we're getting with ours. Because brush pens, they really are just watercolor in marker form. So again, you'll need paper that can hold up well under a lot of water. And then I'm just taking very watered down brush pen paint and bringing it all up into the sky. If your edge starts to blend out a little bit, you can take a paper towel and just kind of dry that out and fix it. Of course, you can do this project with regular markers or with crayons, however you want to color your dolphin. Works just fine. Okay, what do you think?
I want to add a little, just some water on top that's actually just water.
All right, so after that's finished, we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to do a little bit with white gouache to make it look like water spatter. Yeah, let's let that dry now. Okay, so our dolphins have dried enough that we can add some water, some white water effects. So I have a little bit of this white gouache here in my palette, which is basically watercolor paint, but it's opaque, which means it's not transparent. And so we can use some of that to add details, water details, and spatter to our dolphin. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make it look like there's this giant splash of water and little droplets of water coming from our dolphin's tail. Sorry. And there's like this big puddle of white.
Yeah, so
you might need to grab like a thick amount of paint to make it really white. Nice. That looks like water splashing up, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. I like your splash. All done?
Yes.
Hey, good job. And there is our finished pair of dolphins.
Yay.
Good job, kiddo.
You're doing great.
What do I say? I forget. If you liked our video, please hit subscribe and be sure to have fun with more watercolor videos. Bye!